Gore, got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Lang, watching tropical flare. Movie and TV show reviews what you need. Film threats on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film threat, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie.
Welcome everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Chris Gore. This is Film Threat. Today on the show, let me turn that down. Today on the show, Elio. Is it the worst Pixar movie ever? I would say yes. Also, 28 years later, a movie called 40 Acres and an AI feature film that is out. Plus, we're talking to two filmmakers from the Dances with Films Film Festival here in Los Angeles. Alan Ng is here. He's waiting in the wings doing what Alan does, which is he's always late. I know people like to blame me for being late, but actually I blame Alan. So let's start the show. Let's go. Nope. Still not.
I have a particular set of skills that can help me find Alan for you. Oh, and don't forget to go out and watch me in the remake of the very funny Naked Gun. Now back to Alan. Alan.
What is
I
that?
like how the AI is now promoting films. Are you okay? Oh my God, Chris!
No, I'm coughing up coffee. Dang it!
Yeah, while we're at it,
What?
while we're doing the bit, let's promote the film.
Oh God, this
Well done.
bad. I mean, look, they're bad, but we just like to have fun. Oh my God!
Yeah,
What'd you
but
do
I also
next?
have to say, one of our guests today just fills me with glee.
One of our guests.
Yes, and you don't know who it is because you never saw the show.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right.
Well, I love that David Zucker interview you did. You're hot this week, Alan.
Yeah,
David Zucker interview. People asking you to guest on their shows so they can do clips for their channels. Like
Yes.
Valiant Renegade, you were on for longer than our show on Valiant Renegade.
because Valiant Renegade is a great guy to talk to.
I thought that I'm a great guy.
Now,
to
let
talk
me
to.
see if I understand. You lose this guy every week? The fuck?
Alan, see? Even Theo Vaughn is mad at you. He's very upset.
But at least we have a viral video going out now.
Yeah. There you go. So a lot going on, a lot to tell you all, but let's see who's in the chat. Let's go.
All right, Nerd Far Away. You know what you need? You know what we need? We need a Film Threat convention. Just a casual get-together where all the people in the chat meet in person. Hey, how about we have one just before Comic-Con? Like the Wednesday of Comic-Con.
No, it's actually the Saturday of Comic-Con. There
Oh.
is an official meetup. I
Okay.
confirmed. It'll be because all the other days are busy. And there are very few parties this year at San Diego Comic-Con. But yeah,
But let's
So-
do one there anyways.
there you go.
Suns and Shadows, Chris, starting only your first cup of coffee, 2 more waiting.
No, it's second cup of coffee.
Hmm.
Second cup is here. And it's not enough. I need more. I was up late last night watching movies to prepare for the show.
Brujo, Feral Historian just put out a 30-minute Andor video. Now Film Threat. My YouTube runneth overeth.
There you go. And just because I love everyone in the chat, I'm going to show you. We're not supposed to announce this, but I'm just going to do it anyways. The panel at San Diego Comic-Con, here it is, our Indie Filmmakers Survival Guide panel with April Wright from Stunt Women, The Untold Story, Jeff Miller from Popeye the Slayer Man, Jim Agnew will be on the panel, Tracy Lehman from Bob Trevino Likes It will be there, our friend Tim Chismer, and myself. That's Thursday, July 24th at 7 p.m. at the Marriott. So there you go.
That's a good lineup there.
Only because you watch the show do you know about this. So there you are. Hey, Super Chat's coming in hot.
Oh, hey, from freaking IKEA chair for 200 Argentinian pesos, I believe. Wow, that's a lot of money there. Alan's take on the lack of art in Elio made me appreciate the work of classic street photographers like Henri Cartier-Bresson, Bruce Gilden, and many others.
And freaking IKEA chair gifted 10 Film Threat memberships. We have a lot of special stuff for members this month. I will tell you about it on Monday. We have our first edited video debuting on Tuesday because I was inspired by Ironheart. Let's just say that. I've seen all the episodes. By the way, well, we'll get to it.
I've seen 4. And I can't say a thing about it.
Until Tuesday.
We
have our show Hollywood on the Rocks will be Tuesday afternoon because we want to talk about Ironheart. There you go. Okay, let's get through these. We got stuff. We have stories.
Patrick Lemire, my son is graduating high school today. Congratulations. I'm glad he was little when Pixar was great.
Make Pixar great again.
Christopher Moonlight Productions. Good morning and happy Friday. When I'm writing about sexy movies, AI, and the future of independent film on Film Threat, it's getting me angry messages on social media, but I gonna keep going.
Keep going. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. Part of the Chris Army. And
Lord Thoth tells us to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch at shop.filmthreat.com.
That's right. And we are, you know what? We're playing both sides because we have our American AF shirt and we have our Star Trek The Motion Picture inspired rainbow shirt. I want money from all sides because all sides have money. So we have our summer collection, our American AF collection, and we have our Star Trek inspired Beam Me Up with the rainbow that's inspired by a poster from for Star Trek The Motion Picture from 1979 of all things. So go to shop.filmthreat.com for all your Film Threat needs. I have not seen this shirt yet. Look at this. We have a shirt, trucker hat. Look at this. Film.
I love the trucker hat.
Wait, there's a mug and a beach towel. Look at this beach towel, Alan.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
I can't see the beach towel.
Yeah. Well, someone's behind that. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and you pass up the there you go, the red Film Threat hat.
There you go, red Film Threat hat. We have a new pint glass with Film Threat. These are all limited edition, and when they're gone, they're gone. Freaking IKEA chair, another gifted 10 Film Threat memberships. Holy cow!
Thank you.
So go to shop.filmthreat.com to check that out. Okay, news. We have a lot of news today. Disney at CineEurope. What is going on?
I have no idea what that is.
I have a story here, and let's take a look at this story, Alan.
All right.
Disney lights up CineEurope with Lilo and Stitch success, teases Toy Story 5, Tron Ares, Fantastic Four, Devil Wears Prada 2, and more during show capped by James Cameron tribute to John Landau. This is from Deadline by Nancy Tartaglione. Alan, tell me the story.
Well, we all know CineEurope. And this week, Disney made a major splash as it closed out the studio's presentation with jam-packed showcases of upcoming films guided by their new theatrical distribution head, Andrew Cripps. The event opened with some serious Stitch energy. Plushies with flashing lights filled the auditorium to celebrate the runaway success of Lilo and Stitch, which is barreling toward the $1 billion mark. Pixar gave us a taste of Hoppers, a quirky 2026 film about a girl who's mind swapped with a robot beaver And there was an early look at Toy Story 5, which drops next June. Director Joaquin Running hyped up Tron Ares, continuing with the decades-long digital saga, while Marvel boss Kevin Feige got the crowd buzzing at the peak of Fantastic Four First Steps, and some teasing details about Avengers Doomsday. The two films will be directly connected. The lineup didn't stop there. Zootopia 2, or Zootropolis 2 for the international crowd, got more screen time, while Searchlight brought the chills and laughs with Ready or Not 2 and a heartfelt weirdness of Rental Family starring Brendan Fraser, The Roses starring Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. But wait! On the galaxy far, far away front, Jon Favreau beamed in to introduce a sizzle reel of The Mandalorian Grogu, which comes out in theaters next May. 20th Century added its own flair with a historic Predator twist in Badlands and a survival thriller called Send Help, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. And then things wrapped up with the nostalgic nod, The Devil Wears Prada, now gearing up for a sequel, and a heartfelt message from James Cameron, who's finishing Avatar: Fire and Ash in New Zealand. He promised new unseen parts of Pandora and paid tribute to the late producer John Landau, whose spirit, Cameron said, continues to guide the franchise. Wow.
Well, basically, CineEurope is CinemaCon in Europe.
Yeah.
Basically. That's what I got out of that. I don't know. Toy Story 5. I mean, the lineup seems so, other than Hopper, just seems so, there's nothing original.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like Pixar is getting the original stuff, and everything else is just sequels. Everything is literally sequels. Like, no, The Roses is a remake.
Yes, I know that Roses trailer. It looks god awful with Benedict Cumberbatch. I like
jokes in it. There's a few good jokes.
Yeah.
From Invictus Bat, Avatar: Fire and Ass. Now we have the porn version title.
There we go.
Should be Fire in Ass.
Yep. All right. Moving on. There are Fantastic Four pizza tie-ins, and let me just say this: I got to put myself full screen. There are so many crazy tie-ins to Fantastic Four. And here I have a Fantastic Four pizza that I consumed. I may have consumed more than one with next cold pizza the next day for breakfast. But I had this pizza. It is 4 quadrants of pizza, just regular cheese. I guess that's Invisible Girl. Pepperoni, that might be the thing. You've got sausage and peppers. I guess that's Human Torch, and I forgot what the other one was. Anyways, we got some of this pizza, and I watched all of Ironheart while eating this pizza. I'll have a review. Obviously, we'll have a review on a live stream next week. But there's a promotion for this, and my room smells disgusting right now because I have 3 of these boxes in my room. Why did I do this? I am not smart, but the pizza, I will say, the thing I like about this pizza the most, $7.99 for one pizza. $7.99. Yeah. So there you go. And there's a promo promoting this pizza that I gotta say I kind of like because there's a reference, and I'll explain when we watch it. Here, it's a short teaser for the pizza. You ready, Alan?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes. Look at that. I'm
okay,
so pumped.
Let's watch this. Here we go.
We at Little Caesars know the Fantastic Four deserve a fantastic pizza. So we delivered. It's one pizza with 4 different topping combinations. So there's something for the whole team. Hey, you want some too, big guy? I got a topping, not a topping. See Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four First Steps, only in theaters. Yay! You say now! Get a Fantastic Four-in-1 pizza, only $7.99 at Little Caesars. pizza.
All right. So
Oh man.
what I like about that, what I do like about the commercial is it's a reference to the cover of Fantastic Four #1. So
Yeah.
I like that. I like that they're thinking that deeply about it. There's another promo for another.
Oh yeah, I just want to say that when you talked about doing this on Wednesday, that you were gonna watch Ironheart and order the pizza, I was inspired and I was gonna do that. And then I realized my favorite pizza shop is 2 blocks down from Little Caesars. And so I bought my pizza there instead of Little Caesars.
Ah, well, all right. Well, you're doing the food reviews. Why don't you do that for the members?
Yeah.
But there's another promo we have to look at. And I'll tell you what the product is. You'll get it really quick. But here's the number of tie-ins to Fantastic Four. This dwarfs, I think, any Marvel movie to date. I mean, they did promote like Avengers movies, but I mean, the cereal tie-in, the Pop-Tarts, pizza, they're going all in on Fantastic Four. But check this out, Alan.
Help! Anybody? Oh, shucks. I should have been more specific. I could use a hand down here. Pop-Tarts Blue Raspberry? That's fantastic.
Pop-Tarts. Eat ours. Watch theirs. Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four First Steps.
I have not had a Pop-Tart in years. Not in years. I can say
I've never had a Pop-Tart.
Well, there you go. I found actually a pizza, Eat This, Not That. Eatthis.com is a website, and they actually reviewed the Fantastic Four pizza. And there are 4 potential boxes.
Yeah.
So there you get a picture of those.
So are you going to collect the boxes now?
No, I'm not collecting anything. I'm just making you aware. Hey, what's interesting about all of this is how much they have invested in this movie. This movie is as much a movie. It's very important. We looked at the popcorn buckets previously, including the Mr. Fantastic one that looks a little sus, not going to lie. But the big news about this is, did they do this for Thunderbolts? Like, they've really gone all in on promoting this.
The Wheaties box was the Thunderbolts, but I mean, that was one thing. This is like what we're counting 4 things now that is tied in, and
not to mention toys. And we showed the influencer debut and a fashion line, and I mean, they are really promoting. And FF, as we all know, ties directly into Doomsday. Obviously, because Dr. Doom is the Fantastic Four's #1 nemesis and one of the greatest villains, not just in Marvel comics for the Fantastic Four, but also in just comics history.
Second only to Lex Luthor.
I would say on the same level. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you ordered the Squatting Surfer yet?
I'm not going to get any of the toys. I'm not really, as much as an FF fan as I am. I'm not a fan of this incarnation with the movie. So other than the pizza, which I can throw away the boxes, I don't really care. It just,
I mean, my question ultimately is how much it does do all these tie-ins significantly offset the cost of making Fantastic Four to the point where they had to do it? And will these items appear in the movie?
Yeah, I'm curious. Do Pop-Tarts or Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Little Caesars, do they pay Marvel for the license, or does Marvel pay them because it's promotion?
Well, it's
right?
who
I don't know I don't know the specifics of the deal, but I really think that Marvel gets more out of it than Pop-Tarts doesn't need Marvel to sell Pop-Tarts. It's a sugary breakfast treat that is not. I don't remember. It's been maybe a decade since I've had a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there are reasons why I don't I've never had a Pop-Tart, and it's the fact that
You've never had a Pop-Tart?
I've never. Have you? I mean, look at what a Pop-Tart is.
Yeah.
It's a giant sugar bomb. So no, I've never had a Pop-Tart.
Isn't an egg roll like basically a Pop-Tart, but in a different shape?
There's no sugar in an egg roll.
I'll bet there is sugar.
There's no corn syrup in an egg roll. There's no sugar in the egg roll. It's rice paper. And then it's your filling. It's your egg filling, your vegetable filling. Yeah. People. Sure. Everyone in the chat, go eat your Pop-Tarts. I'll live longer than you.
All right. Let's go to comments here.
Press M to start for $10. Spoiler, a shark eats people in Jaws. And also can't wait to review the DVD y'all gonna send me. They'll be up on my page at Press M to start. Any support is appreciated. Keep up the great work, dudes.
Ooh, that puts pressure. There are going to be a lot of good
better
DVDs.
be a great review.
There better be a good batch of DVDs in that pile.
Razor burn for 2, both of you. Chicago, Detroit, or New York style pizza.
I'm from Detroit. What is Detroit?
Yeah, what is a Detroit style pizza?
I know what Chicago is, deep dish. New York, I love original Ray's. New York. I don't know what Detroit style is. And I feel bad. I'm from Detroit.
Is there a Detroit style pizza?
There definitely is. Google it, Alan.
Okay, I'll Google it.
All right, here we go. More comments. Thank you, Razorburn. Appreciate you.
From Solomon Thornton. Oh yeah, this promo-based Giganto the Mole Man's monster.
And sadly, that tells me that character is not in the movie, Mole Man or Giganto.
Probably it is, but probably as a cameo. It's probably going to be in there for 2 minutes most.
Right.
Von Max for 10, 28 years.
Save that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Von Max. We will save it for when we do the review later. So appreciate your patience.
Okay, so here's a Detroit style pizza. It's a rectangular, light, fluffy crust like focaccia, brick cheese, sauce, and toppings. So it's a fluffy deep dish. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. All right. I've had Detroit style. I like it. I didn't know that was a thing. I think it was just
I think Little
pizza.
Caesars is the ones who put that one out most here. Darth Maul, watch out for the Fantastic Four and Avatar crossovers merch. Fantastic Four Sriracha, Fire Ass.
Yeah, you did say, Alan, you did say fire ass.
Yeah, and I did it on purpose. Let's just put it that way.
Did you do it on purpose?
I did do it on purpose.
Did you do it on purpose?
I did do it on purpose.
All right, there you go. We have more news stories before we get to our reviews, so let's do this.
Do you want to do that last super chat from the tie-in?
Sure, of course. Yeah, let's do that.
From Thumbs Up 1981 for $4.99. I would like to think that these tie-ins are because Fantastic Four is a legacy brand, not apocryphal garbage like Captain America: Brave New World, or a brand with less story like Bolts. Yeah. So, okay.
Well, there's a rumor that the Thunderbolts director is doing X-Men. Only a rumor at this point. Yeah. I don't know that that's confirmed. Yeah. So there you go. Hey, do you want to watch a celebrity trial, Alan?
Yeah.
You ever thought about going to a celebrity trial?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you can. Here it is from the Washington Post. I think we have a version you can read. When Diddy or Depp go to court, trial tourists get in line. People go to experience an actual courtroom drama with big names like Sean Combs or Blake Lively. And this article tells you about the people that do this and kind of how they do it. Do you have the notes there?
Yes, I do.
Let's do it.
All right.
Alan.
Well, in New York, Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial on charges like sex trafficking and racketeering has become a major draw for curious spectators, podcasters, and true crime fans. People are lining up outside the courthouse, sometimes overnight, just to grab a seat. It's not just about the legal drama, but it's about the mix of fame, scandal, and real-life stakes that's pulling people in. One legal expert called it reality TV on steroids. Inside, the vibe is intense, with overflowing rooms broadcasting every moment like a live show, and every look or comment getting dissected like a scene from a hit series. This kind of trial tourism is becoming a trend, especially for celebrity cases. Some folks like comedian Yoshi Obayashi and artist Jessica Jarva actually travel from city to city to attend big trials. Think Trump, Weinstein, Depp, and more. While some might call it nosy or voyeuristic, others say it's good old-fashioned curiosity and civic engagement. After all, trials are open to the public, and sitting in on one gives people a first-hand look at how the justice system really works. Unfiltered, unscripted, and often way more intense than anything on TV.
Yeah, well, look, I have no interest in going to anything like that at this point. I prefer to see a YouTuber give me the synopsis. But celebrity trials have not only resulted in, well, growing big YouTube channels, but in, Netflix doc series. I know Yoshi Obayashi. He's a comedian. He's been on panels of mine at conventions. Yoshi's great. But yeah, he was telling me about this, and I thought, well, if you want to do it, anyone can do it. This is open to the public, free entertainment. I would never do it myself.
Even
what
for
about
Gina
you, Alan?
Carano?
What about you, Alan?
Even for Gina Carano?
Will that be open to the public? I don't know. But would you do this, Alan?
No, I have better things to do with my life.
Same. I'm not. I got too much to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Hall H in the old days, because it just felt like once Hall H happened, it just showed up on YouTube. And so why bother standing in line, staying overnight? I think that's what you were saying, is that, we're just going to get the summaries and reviews afterwards. So again, what's the point?
One last news story before we get to our reviews. The box office for James Gunn's Superman has been downgraded. Sorry to have to tell you this, Alan, but Superman has been original estimates were between like 140 and 175 million. And now they've downgraded the estimates for opening weekend down to 90 million to 120. That is significant.
Wow.
They've overestimated it. Now, I believe nobody knows anything in entertainment. Nobody predicted Minecraft would do so well. I think Superman could benefit from walk-up business.
Yeah.
That is, families that, like Super Mario did that. These are not regular moviegoers. These are families that go to the movies, a couple times a year as a family thing to do, an event. I think Superman will be that movie, a family. And I think Fantastic Four is going after that audience. They see that these movies, they become surprise hits because people don't pre-book their tickets. It's walk-up business. So I'm telling you, no one knows anything. And the fact that they've changed the estimates, I feel like they'd rather have it overperform and overperform the estimates like Minecraft or a Super Mario or other movies that have surprised the prognosticators than overestimate and it underperforms, because then people assume, oh, it only made 120 million opening weekend. It failed because you said it would make this. Well, here we go. Just looking at box office. This is from the Data is Beautiful channel. I'm not going to play the music because it's unnecessary. But this is the box office for Marvel and DC movies from 1978 through 2019 in a graph. I mean, this video is like 6 minutes. I can just play it while we discuss. But you can see like all the different movies, when they were released, how much money they made, the winners and losers. We're starting with, December 1989 and then going up to the present. But as we watch this this data unfold before us on screen. What do you think about this? I mean, will we be saying we're seeing so much press for Superman and James Gunn really take the spotlight? If this movie fails or succeeds, there will be one person to either blame or herald as a hero, and that will be James Gunn. So he's really putting himself out there. And, you know, we've gone over the stories where, you know, he's kind of taken some shots at Marvel. I know he walked some of that back. But Alan, what is your take, or what are your thoughts on Superman opening weekend and them downgrading the estimates? And maybe we can find that article about that.
Yeah, the Superman could definitely benefit from what's the word I'm looking for? From underwhelming buzz. The thing is, I think, you know, if we I'm trying to find that word and I can't think of it, but it'll benefit by downgrading everything, by underperforming. But at the same time, $90 million for Superman opening weekend is not good.
I do think under 100 million, that would be considered a failure.
Yeah.
And look at this. We're in December. We're in 1998 now, and DC dominates at the box office. You've got Superman 78, all these movies, all the Batman Forever, Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, Superman 2. Here comes Marvel in with Blade in 99, so, or 98. But I do think that it would be considered a failure, or at least a disappointment, if it made under 100. They will do everything possible to get it into the, you know, north of that 100 figure.
The most recent example of this is Elemental, where when it premiered, opening weekend was very lackluster, but it had legs and it inched its way to what some would consider break even.
Now here we are. Spider-Man 2002 jumps to the top. We have Blade and Blade 2, Daredevil coming in, X-Men. Now Marvel from the early 2000s begins to dominate.
Now that's the Eric Bana Hulk right there.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't do too well.
Yeah, but Elemental was able to eke out its way to profitability, but Superman is not Elemental. It's either going to hit big and then move on and get big box office, or it's going to hit soft and dud and then spiral out, which is not good because again we're saying that Fantastic Four isn't exactly Superman at the moment.
Well, we went over all the Fantastic Four tie-ins, right?
That's true.
If Fantastic Four makes under 100 opening weekend, which I kind of think it will, is it going to have legs? It really doesn't have much. Naked Gun the following week, but there's not much in competition. August is a dead month. Is there strategy to open late July and ride out August?
I know. June is a dead month. August is a dead month. July is Fantastic Four and Superman. I mean, that's the box office. That's movie theaters this summer and what we have to look forward to. It's sad. It is very sad.
Well, as we get into the 2010s, you can see now that it's really Marvel is overtaking Iron Man and Iron Man 2. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is getting filled out, but Spider-Man right up there. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman are among the top movies, the top 5. It's those brands. It's the brand recognition. That's why this whole thing with Gunn and Batman, and then you get an Avengers movie, and that just catapults to the top in 2012.
Yeah, now the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is in the mix.
Yeah, I do kind of find it kind of relaxing to watch this play out. I've watched these data channels. I don't know. It's kind of because the numbers, as we know from The Life of Chuck, numbers, they don't lie. That's it. Yeah. You're looking at the box office and where these movies land.
Yeah. I mean, look how well Iron Man 3 is doing, especially compared to the first 2 Iron Man movies.
I mean, and Iron Man 3 at the time was like, it was all right,
Yeah.
mixed reviews. Now we
Very
look
mixed.
back, and that's top tier Marvel in comparison to like Phase 4 and 5
Yeah.
and what we've seen.
Civil War. There we go.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, we'll put the link in the description, but I do think that both the DC cinematic universe, that all their hopes are on Superman, and Marvel, if Fantastic Four underperforms,
oh my gosh,
I think superhero movies as a genre are in trouble.
Okay, look how red the chart is getting versus blue.
Well, now Marvel is dominating.
Dominating,
Up
yeah,
to
look at Endgame.
2019. There you go. And it ends there
Oh.
with Endgame. There you go. So
I mean, they should really embarrass. Well, yeah, because none of the other movies will have gotten to the point where they could be on that list.
let's go to comments.
Chimera, sorry for 5 Australian. I hate how Gunn is acting like his film won't need to be an epic success. Warner Brothers will compare Man of Steel money to this, and we know what happens if they're not happy.
Thank you, Chimera.
Blue-haired bland whale for $4.99. Chris, if you are looking for a life after apocalypse story, check out the Passage book trilogy. Great books. Terrible attempted TV adaptation.
Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah, I had heard about that. Passage.
Thumbs up 1981 for $1.99. DC has a rich library, but they just do Batman because Batman
Correct.
Works.
Yeah.
Batman works. Ooh, Granda Comics for 10,000 COPs. I'm sure that's a dent in your wallet there. Try doing the same trailer analysis when you did with Elio trailer with the Superman trailers. They all have the action dead center on the screen.
Yeah. I've seen all the comments on your video, Alan, and a lot of people trying to challenge you, but I stand by what you said. It's boring. Thank you for that.
And it's part of it is the rule of thirds. The other thing is there's no background, because when you look at the left and right third, there's nothing there. Compared to okay, Patrick Lemire. My wife, who doesn't go to movies, wants to see Superman. I can't tell you how big that is.
This is what I think. Walk up business for Superman is going to be a game changer. Crypto the dog. He has made a family friendly Superman.
Yeah.
From the looks of it, it's goofy, it's family friendly. There's a dog, there's heterosexual relationships. I'm pretty sure they kiss and don't bump foreheads. You know how huge that is? That's big, Patrick. Good to hear.
Yeah. Well, the reaction of my daughter when I said we're seeing Elio versus we're seeing Superman are very different. Jean Hu for 742. I would be interested to see a chart. DC versus Marvel box office adjusted for inflation.
Yeah. I thought those were adjusted for inflation.
No, I think those are total, but adjusting for inflation really will count for the early Marvel films versus the later ones. Fet the Gray. People went to public hearings and trials throughout history. We love to watch other people fail for some reason.
It's a weird thing.
The nerd far away. So courtroom dramas have replaced public executions. Society can be so weird.
True. All right. We may get to other news stories at the end of the show, but it's time to do reviews. Alan, you saw Bride Hard, and I'm so excited that you did. I'm dying for you to tell me all about Bride Hard. And by the way, I thought about maybe going to see this movie, but when I heard you were going, I thought,
yeah, that happens a lot. It's like, I'm going to see that too. Hey, let's see Bride Hard together. Okay, I got something else to do.
Sit next to you, but look, I saw. All right, tell me about Bride Hard.
Tell you about Bride Hard. So, Rebel Wilson. I'm just going to use the actors' names here. Rebel Wilson is the maid of honor at her best friend's wedding, but there's something about Rebel Wilson. She's a spy, and on the bachelorette night, she has to duck off to do some spy stuff, which all the other bridesmaids are like, well, she's never around. Why is she the maid of honor? And so because of her ducking off, she is now demoted to bridesmaid. She's almost thrown out of the wedding, for crying out loud. So during the wedding, her best friend is marrying a very rich son of a rich man. And during that wedding, bad guys come in, take it over. There's a big deposit of gold in the safe. Yeah. And then there's a mystery hard drive with incriminating evidence. And we find, I don't want to give away any spoilers here, but someone very close to the bride needs that hard drive and may have been the one to execute this hostile takeover. But thankfully, when Rebel Wilson's character is kicked out of the wedding, she is off to the side and sees the bad guys coming and single-handedly takes them all down. Oh, I'm sorry. I just spoiled the movie. Sorry about that. Maybe she single-handedly.
I kind of got that from the trailer. She's basically a spy at this wedding.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a very bad movie. Bad humor, bad jokes. Very indicative of what comedy is today. Like Rebel Wilson, her cover is that she's a cat entrepreneur. I mean, that's funny, right? Yeah, that's a funny joke. Everyone's super horny. Everyone's super horny in this movie, which brings out laughs. I mean, I'll be honest, my theater was packed and people were laughing, but it was mostly women and mostly people who don't know what real comedy is. There, I said it. The acting. There's one character in this movie that acts awful, and this person is a main character in the plot. Just bad writing. It's low grade comedy. It's TV comedy. You can definitely skip this one. The only reason this movie was made was because it has famous people in it, and you can see most of them here on the poster. In fact, Divine Joy there? She's an Oscar award-winning actress. So it's exactly what you think it is, and it's exactly as bad as you think it is.
So, do you recommend Brideheart?
No.
Pass.
Hard pass. Yeah.
Let's go to comments.
Ron Mizstars, families continue. At least it wasn't a lesbian wedding. I don't know. That was pretty good in that Sydney Sweeney movie. John Z. It's a comedic girl boss version of Die Hard, sans the comedy. It's more like a comedic girl boss version of Spy Hard, starring Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah. All right, we have more films to review, so let's do it. I think we need to talk about this movie. It's time to talk about Elio. Alan, you did an analysis, and we'll put the link to that video in this review, where you broke down the visuals of Elio and what made the designs and the composition of the shots boring and not up to Pixar and or Disney's classic standards. Basically, everything is in the center and not following the rule of thirds. But let's really dig into the story, and we will talk spoilers in this review. I've seen the movie get bad to mixed reviews. I have not seen an over-the-top positive anywhere yet. But
85% on Rotten Tomatoes,
which I'm shocked about. I know the critics that gave it a good review, but I'm telling you, this is the worst Pixar movie ever made. This is what happens when you elevate inexperienced, I'll be polite, inexperienced animators from underrepresented groups to power status. When you have a leader who does not say no, you talked about that John Lasseter could always say no, and that was the final answer. Now you have weak leadership, which results in a lackluster story, uninspired. Like you've got it's very DEI. in terms of, you know, certain characters will be elevated to certain positions and other characters they're dumb or bullies. You can figure out who the good people are and the bad people are by, you know, their identity. I find that just offensive.
Are they cute or are they ugly? Let's go that way.
Yeah, exactly. And put that aside, the designs of the alien characters are terrible. And this idea, this Elio character that's like, you know, oh, I want to be abducted by aliens, and then I got what I wanted. He just gets what he wants too easily. There's no struggle. I sat there thinking, would even little kids like this movie? And the answer to that is no. Now Monsters Inc., which I think is a movie more geared towards the little kids. Same thing with Cars. Those movies still have like a decent story and something relatable. And the great thing about Pixar films, when Pixar is at their best, they work on two levels, for children and adults. And sometimes those two get different things out of the movie, which gives a movie like, say, Toy Story or Up are more meaningful depending on what stage of life you see the film at. Elio is just hot garbage and forgettable. And I get the feeling they're dumping this out there and just getting it over with. So cannot recommend it. 2 out of 10 for me. I think you gave it a 3 out of 10 on the website. But what more can you add to this, Alan?
Yeah. Look, Pixar, for the majority of its life, I would say all the way up to Coco, it was for kids, but it was also for adults. I mean, you could practically point to every film, maybe not Cars 2 or Cars 3, but every film had an element that kids would enjoy and that adults would enjoy. And they've stopped doing that. And Elio there's nothing in Elio that adults will enjoy. I'll give you one prime example. Elio takes place in space. Somehow Pixar managed to make space look boring.
Yeah.
It's like, if I were to imagine Pixar doing space, you would see galaxies, you'd see stars. It would feel three-dimensional. It would feel crisp and clean, meaning you could see every star, every singular star. But in this one, it just felt like something that you get out of a children's textbook or something like that. To make space look boring is a crime. And for Pixar to have committed that crime, it just means that, you would have expected Pixar to have done this. And then to just make this movie so lackluster and so uninspired is the other crime that Pixar has committed here. The last thing I'll say is the biggest crime. I probably said it. The first one was the biggest crime, but the biggest crime here was, when you go out and they showed space, what did they do? They put voiceover of Carl Sagan out there. And to hear Carl Sagan say very profound things about space, overlaid on top of the most boring image of space, is an anathema. It's heresy. And I'll end on this. Kids today, I doubt they know who Carl Sagan is. And so if your target audience is little boys, little boys who like space, little girls who like space, I seriously doubt they know who Carl Sagan is. And then when they hear this voiceover of a man that is never referenced, do they know who they're even listening to? I mean, you would think they would have gone to Neil deGrasse Tyson as the more contemporary. And I'm not saying that Neil deGrasse Tyson is Carl Sagan, but it's just the impression I got with Elio at every single level is hack animators and hack storytellers.
And I will say this: there is a thing where you did in the D files go over the kind of revolution that happened within Pixar, where they ousted John Lasseter.
And most animators who had been with the company for well over 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, they basically pushed out the veterans in favor of uplifting new voices. Lots of new rules came into place. One of those in animation, it's a huge debate, is the identity of the person playing a character must match the character. And when you look at the cast of voice actors for Elio, it's all people that match the ethnicity, race, whatever you want to say, of their character they're playing. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Which kind of limits you. I mean, who cares what a voice actor looks like? You know, if they can do the voice, great, but they really put effort into, I mean, that's why I say this thing is very much DEI gentrified storytelling.
Watered
It's
down.
Watered down.
Or safety.
Watered down. Yeah, this is at best should have gone to Disney Plus only. It should not have gotten a big theatrical release. And Pixar, you are ruining your brand the same way Marvel has ruined its brand by putting your name on it.
Yeah, here I'll spoil something here, and this is something that caught me, but it's the character development of Elio. He starts off as a shy kid who's hiding underneath the cafeteria table at a museum. He's a scared kid who doesn't want to, but somehow changes when he thinks an alien will come. And then, so he's trying to send a message out to the aliens to come abduct him. And the only way he could do it is he has a radio, but he needs a ham radio to boost the signal. And so he puts out a fake ad about a fake ham radio club. And a kid comes out and says, "Hey, I saw your ad. I'm in the ham radio. I would love to make friends." And what does Elio do? He steals his ham radio.
Right. He doesn't
steal the ham radio. Oh, and here's the worst part. Here's the worst part. So the kid he steals the ham radio on later comes to bully him. Why? Well, not because Elio's a scrawny little kid. He bullies him because Elio stole his ham radio. And so we're supposed to feel sympathy for Elio and feel anger toward this kid who had his ham radio stolen.
This is modern storytelling where people are the heroes because of their identity, not because of their actions.
Yeah. What was the race of the kid he stole the radio from?
Well, he was black.
No. He was white.
Oh,
no, it was
yes.
It was the black friends. It was the black
the friend of the black character. Yeah. So he's like pissed. You stole my radio.
Yeah, and he's and so there's a bullying scene which we're supposed to feel bad about because
there isn't. It's weird because I just watched Ironheart, so it's very much fresh in my mind. But Ironheart has the same problem: an unlikable lead character, and there's no save the cat moment. Save the Cat, look it up, is a book that tells you about screenwriting and that if you want to endear the audience to a hero, they must have a save the cat moment. In the original Superman, Christopher Reeve's Superman literally saves a cat in a tree and, hey, he's willing to do all these heroic things. You know what? Save a cat. He does nice things.
That was a dumb scene.
Elio, yes, it is. Elio is an asshole, and the same thing with Riri Williams in Ironheart is also only does things for herself. She's incredibly selfish, and I feel it's a reflection of the generation that is involved creatively in these projects. They don't know values, and they don't understand what makes a hero, whether it's a superhero or just the lead protagonist in a movie who you're supposed to identify with. And identifying with a character doesn't mean you need to look like them. And there's a bad ideas that have seeded themselves into fiction, comics, movies, video games, that you must look like the protagonist in order to identify. No. I mean, there's plenty of things I saw as a kid where I didn't look like the character, where I identified with that person. So
yeah, but you brought out the evolution of that is you need to empathize and sympathize for a character because of their identity, not what they do, not what they believe, not what their goals are, is by the pure fact that Elio is Latino, that we are supposed to sympathize with him. Especially when he steals the ham radio from a white kid.
Let's go to comments.
Retro Meister for 5. 2 points I want to make. John Lasseter was the first employee to be canceled before Gina Carano. Yeah. And Turning Red is the worst Pixar movie.
Until you see Elio.
Elio, yeah. See Elio.
Thanks, Retro Meister.
At least Turning Red had interesting backgrounds. Matthew Hammond, member for 15 months. When Pixar was at its best 10 to 15 years ago, I would say Coco was the last really great Pixar movie.
Yeah, Coco is awesome. And guess what? It's I mean, what's all Latino characters?
It's all well, here's the other thing.
I love that movie.
Here's the other thing. Coco was the first movie to come out after Lasseter's firing. He was removed from everything Coco related, but Lasseter had been working on Coco up until that point. So again, the last great Pixar movie. Tony, Youthful Eagle, alias. The Wild Robot costs only $80 million and looks absolutely amazing and gorgeous and unique. Elio costs almost $300 million and looks awful.
Yeah, true.
And Wild Robot, the animation is so complicated. It's that hand-drawn, hand-painted look that it goes after. Looks beautiful. Agos, I am UK. Elio, I watched it. It was awful. I suspect the framing is make it easier to stream in portrait orientation. Vast number of 10 out of 10 IMDb movies and many YouTube reviews are vastly overly positive.
Yeah.
Let me speak to the everyone's been saying, yeah, it's for YouTube and it's for that. You can't watch anything on Disney Plus just the center third. It forces you to turn your phone sideways, landscape, and then fills the screen. So I understand why you're saying it. It's just there's no utility. You can't do it. It's just impossible to watch this movie just in the center third. BMO better. So sad to see Pixar fall this far.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It is sad. So
Darth Maul. I will say the character design helps make cheap toys.
True.
Okay, Wes Ray. Pixar is shooting their movies for TikTok smartphone crowd, where all the action is centered in the center and little to no attention is given to left or right.
And
I feel like it's more, yeah.
Thank you, Tumbleweed, for becoming a member.
I'm not going to rehash that. Okay.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Should we do, we've got a bunch of other films to review, but we have someone coming in at 10:15.
Yeah.
So we may have to do, we've got 4 more films to review.
Yeah. Why don't we do 28 years later and then we'll get the other ones if we can.
Yeah. We'll do it at the end of the show or in between. We'll see.
Okay. All
right. Alan, we need to talk about 28 years later. And I will start with the fact that I think 28 days later, one of my favorite zombie movies that reinvigorated the zombie franchise. Love Danny Boyle as a director. 28 weeks later, I don't like as much, but I still like that conceptually what this did is take the zombie movie story and advanced it further and added new ideas. It's actually one of the few zombie things ever made that explains the origins of the virus, unlike the Romero-verse, the George Romero zombie movies, or say The Walking Dead never explained it. In the 28 so-called franchise, they explain that it's a virus that's a rage virus. These are not undead walking people. They are people, humans, exposed to a virus through blood that makes them, it's like a hyper version of rabies and running zombies, which was, but it's explained, right? They're hyped up on whatever this virus is. Now, cut to 28 years later in this franchise, we see that Europe has fought off the virus, and the surrounding, the UK and surrounding areas is a no-go quarantine zone. There may be light spoilers in this as Alan and I speak about it. What I really like about this film is a couple things. One, the concept of the quote rage zombies, and the fact that they took it far enough in the future that society has developed a society that has rules that you must follow in order to survive, a society that has children that never knew a life before this apocalypse, that have grown up in this world, a world without doctors. And we meet a young boy who has a mother and a father. The father, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, the mother, Jodie Comer, is suffering from some unknown ailment. Spike, the young son, is played by Alfie Williams, and his dad is going to take him out. Little 12-year-old, might be a little too young. They like to wait till they're like 14 years old, these children. Take him out to hunt I keep going to zombies on the remote island. Also to look for supplies. And on this trip, it's almost like taking your kid out and teaching him about hunting or fishing. He needs to learn the rules of Zombieland. Well, no, Zombieland, that's a whole other franchise. So they go off and things happen. I'll just say that. In addition, we see that while society has evolved with rules to keep people safe, the rage zombies have evolved as well. You've got crawlers. They're sort of bloated versions of these zombies that are only able to crawl, and they're very slow moving. You then have herds of zombies that move together. They're completely naked, and they have alphas that lead them. So in a way that, while polite society has evolved to survive, the zombies themselves have evolved to survive. The world building, I'll say this, the world building is so good in this. And when the father figure, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Spike go out, there's great zombie moments, evading them in the forest, which is all overgrown, ducking into a house to hide, and going on the roof. They stay out past dark and have to learn to survive, but he returns a conquering hero. But things take a turn when Spike is very concerned about his mother maybe dying from a disease. He learns of a doctor that he might be able to meet up with, which leads him on a journey. I won't get more specific than that, but Spike and his mother go on a journey to find this legendary doctor who's gone mad, kind of like Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now, to possibly find a cure for what ails her. And it's their adventures along the way. I gotta say, as someone who's a fan of the genre, from Night of the Living Dead being one of my all-time favorite movies, this is, I'll say, in the series, it's the second best movie next to 28 Days Later, but I really loved it. I have a lot of nitpicks toward the end. We may get into spoilers later after I hear what your thoughts are. Yeah. But in general, for me, 7 to 8 out of 10. Loved it. I have nitpicks. There is a great sort of bookend between a character we meet at the beginning that pays off, and Ray Fiennes as Dr. Kelson, this madman, is I think he's amazing. So he's learned to cope with these rage zombies. I don't know. I loved it. I have nitpicks, and while it doesn't end on a cliffhanger necessarily, it does kind of wrap up the world. It does introduce what conflicts will be in a second movie. And I believe the second movie is either in production or been shot. In any case, loved it. 7.5. It'd be between a 7 and 8 out of 10. I'll go see it again and decide. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, okay. my biggest complaint about this is the trailers, I believe, presented a different movie than what.
Well,
we
it
got.
didn't tell you anything about the story,
but it didn't tell you anything about the story. But it gave you this impression that this movie would be much bigger than it was. Having said that, okay, look, 10 years from now, I'm not going to care what the trailer made me think. I'm going to care about this movie. This movie, it was okay. It was. It did remind me a lot about Walking Dead in the sense of this is the world we live in. Here's how we interact with the world. The first act of the movie is Spike and Jamie going out, just Spike and his father going out to, basically do what a young man's first trial is, and that's to go out into the mainland and deal and learn how to kill these things. And then it comes back and they throw a party for him, and then things take a turn where Spike has a loftier goals to make, and that's regarding his mother. Right. And then he goes out, and it's interesting. I will say this, that to me, this movie really took off when Ray Fiennes showed up as the doctor, because I think everything I had seen up until this point, I had seen with Walking Dead. I saw with that Zack Snyder one in Vegas. There are alphas. There's this evolution, you say, of the creatures, the zombies, the infected, that I had seen before. But bringing in Ray Fiennes, and then what happens in those moments in the third act was like, wow, okay, this is new. This is interesting. This is, it's much less about the violence and the horror of the infected, but more philosophical and more spiritual about it. And I just found that absolutely fascinating. There are things that happen that are like more heartfelt than horrific, and I was just kind of into that, because, like I said, not into horror, but I'm into smart horrors. I'm into horrors that do different things, and that third act to me was really what embraced me to this movie. But again, that the first two acts, I've seen it before.
I'll just say, I just as a fan of the genre, and I was a fan of the remember the Left 4 Dead zombie video game. I love that game, played it forever. Left 4 Dead 2 was amazing. I downloaded and played and finished every DLC. There's never been, to my mind, there's never been a Left 4 Dead 3. They never made that. I really wish they would have made it. Or I'm sure it was in development, but I love anything that advances the sort of lore of zombies or changes it somewhat to, but it was George Romero who really innovated all of that. And then other series, like whether it's Resident Evil, Left 4 Dead games, or 28 Days Later, kind of like took the crux of the idea and added something to it and advanced it. I did like there were different types of zombies, the zombies in a herd, alpha zombie. Yeah. And there is an act that happens in the middle of the movie. I don't think I've ever seen in a zombie anything.
Yeah.
And that is a big spoiler. We should put up the spoiler. And I can't wait to see where they go with this in the second one. But a zombie gives birth to a baby that, because of the placenta, according to Ray Fiennes, gives birth to a zombie. So that means, one, was she pregnant when she got the rage virus, or are zombies making babies?
Yeah, I think they're making babies. Because the alpha definitely acted as the protective father. I think when the alpha goes after them, I think it's going after it for the baby, rather than what it normally does. And so I think, those are interesting things. Again, that all happens in the third act.
Right. So, well, we put up a spoiler warning, but we could we'll get into it more on Versus, but I'll just say, as a fan of the genre, I loved it. I like the soldier character they brought in. He added some levity, which you do need. I believe that levity, it was so intense that he added levity and then had like a lot of horrible things happen.
Maybe. The thing I liked about him was that and this is brought up in the beginning of the movie, but it's the fact that England is, or Great Britain is, quarantined. And so while the rest of the world progressed to what we know as the modern time today, that island, the island of England, didn't. And I found that fascinating. But again, the first two acts, I was expecting something bigger. I was expecting something that came off the tone of the trailers, and I didn't get it. And
I'll just say that I have a lot of nitpicks, but there's some great stuff in it. I do like that the Teletubbies in the beginning pays off in the end, and if you're observant, the color of the tracksuits, matches the Teletubbies. Anyways,
well, I mean, that's the other thing.
Bothers me.
I'm getting tired of endings that lead into a sequel.
Yeah.
I'll just say.
Well, I don't mind it because I already knew there was a sequel going in. But I will say this. One thing that did bug me is just from a practical standpoint, why aren't they wearing safety glasses? Like,
why complicate things like that?
Or goggles. You would think goggles.
Yeah, because that would be the most likely entry point of the virus.
What I'm saying is, yes, if you are splattering zombies all over the place, rage zombies, and their blood is getting everywhere, it's gonna get in your eye or nostril or mouth.
Mouth, eyes, and nose. That's where it comes.
Like, I mean, you know what? I know I hate to go Dr. Fauci. Wear a mask and wear goggles or safety glasses when you're killing zombies whose blood can infect you. But other than a lot of nitpicks, I, for the most part, really enjoyed it. Can't wait for the next part. And 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'll say 7, but lower your expectations. If you were impressed and thrilled by the trailer, lower your expectations.
Let's go to comments.
Pilgrim Media for 2. When is 28 Centuries coming out? 28
exactly. When's it coming out?
Yeah, that's the sequel. Von Max for 10. 28 years, such a disappointment. I really wanted to like it. The lighting, story, characters, and music was weak, poorly executed, filled with plot holes and nonsense. A couple next to me left 20 minutes in, 4 out of 10.
Well, I will say it's not for everyone. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just, again, you got to pay off these trailers.
Yeah.
If you're going to put out a great trailer, your movie has to be great.
Yeah.
Pilgrim Media for 2. Alpha, Long Dung Silver Zombie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny, actually.
Well, I hate how dongs got longer, but boobs got smaller because of the virus.
Yeah.
Sons and Shadows for 2. This makes me want John Carpenter's Dead Space.
We have special guests, Alan, so we got to wrap this up.
I'm sorry. We got to watch my language.
Yeah, you should pay attention to what's going on.
Right for 2. 20 years later was Donkey Balls, guys. WTF are you on?
I liked it. To each his own. I like zombie movies. We'll get to more comments later, and we have 3 more films to review, but we have an interview subject here. Let me reset here. Hey, let's talk to American comic writer Joe Kwaczala and director Daniel J. Clark. They're here, and their movie premieres. I think it premieres at the Dances with Films Film Festival. Let's hear what they have to say about their movie. Hey, did I pronounce that horribly?
No, you nailed it. That was absolutely. Wow. I'm impressed. No one ever gets that right.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah.
And did you premiere at South by Southwest, or is it?
No, we'll be premiering at Dances with Film in a little over a week on the 29th.
Okay, I'm thinking of a different movie then. Yeah.
That's great. All right, well, tell us where American Comic came from, because I have to say, it felt too real. I'm going, I don't know if is it a mockumentary, or it felt so real to me. Like, please.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that. That was part of the whole deal. this kind of comes out of both of our backgrounds. We've been doing sketch comedy together for a long time, but as we've been doing that, I have been a stand-up comedian for 15 years, and for just as long, Daniel has been a for real documentarian. He makes documentary films, and we realized if we are to make a feature film together, we need to combine these things. We have, write what you know. We have the experience. We can really bring those things together, and I'll tip my hat to Daniel. He knows how to shoot something to make you think like, oh, this is happening.
Like, I feel like I know some of the comedians, like I've seen them, like it just felt like I'm 10 minutes in and I'm like, I don't know if this is this? Yeah. So I questioned myself. We should look at the trailer too, because I want our audience to see it. But
for sure,
how did this project come about?
So, yeah, like we've been working together on and off for 18 years since we were like kids. And this the germ of this came out of a sketch that we did that was, as a stand-up, I'm annoyed with every other stand-up. And so I wrote a sketch that was about like a trope that I had noticed with certain comedians. They like their punchlines to be a detail plus an emotion. I had noticed that with a lot of comedians. They blah, blah, blah. They'd have a joke and they'd be like, and I'm just full of beef jerky and regret. And like that would be, I'm covered in Cheeto dust and despair. And so I kind of created this character and we made this fake little short about him, and a lot of comics really responded to that, where they're like, that is a thing, you really nailed that. And it kept coming back to us, and we were like, I think there's something here that we could go deeper on, and if we want to make a feature, this is the thing. I have a lot of connections in the stand-up world. We could shoot this at real clubs. Daniel knows how to be really resourceful and make a documentary feature film and make it look the way we want it to look. And so we were like, let's not wait for anybody to tell us to do this. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and then where did you, like, in terms of production? Well, I guess we should show the trailer.
Yeah.
Good idea.
We show the trailer. I want our audience to actually get a taste of what they're about to experience. And then we'll talk about it after. Here we go. American Comic.
The human brain is kind of like an old abandoned mansion.
Oh,
shit. Hold on.
Little ghosts that haunt it. Everyone is like, don't go in there. That place is weird, but also secretly.
I want to start it over.
Yeah.
Start it over, Alan.
You're going to need to see that.
Let's hear it. Let's go.
The human brain is kind of like an old abandoned mansion. And we as comedians are like the freaky little ghosts that haunt it. Everyone is like, don't go in there. That place is weird, but also secretly everyone likes that it's haunted. And so that's how I would describe the job of a comedian in a nutshell.
What about making people laugh?
What about it?
It is not safe to be a comedian these days. It's a war zone out there.
Is the verdict in?
For the cop who shot that unarmed teen in Watts.
Oh, jeez.
Jay Christopher, welcome to the studio.
When I get on stage, I say the things that need to be said.
You go to the bathroom, fill it up with some amazing stains.
I say, don't hate me because I'm beautiful, hate me because I'm a white man. So this is every show I've ever done along with what I wore. I'm going to sleep in the car.
I just watched the fire in his eyes go out.
Then he doesn't care about comedians. Perfect. Look who's here, bitches. I look good. They wouldn't even know what to do with me. I'm on a rocket to the top. Stop moving. We'll see.
Just like stop talking.
With stand-up, you just kind of throw everything against the wall and you can see what sticks. It's the audience who will tell you what works. The audience will tell you who you are. No, I'll see you. What's this?
I would say I'm glad I did not see the trailer before I watched it, because you got me. You got me.
Good. That's great.
In the beginning. So what went into the production? Was it obviously, partially scripted? Was it improv, a lot of it?
No, it was actually all scripted.
So we had a really tight script that we liked, and we were really excited to go get. All of the stand-up shows we knew what Joe was going to say on stage, but they were in front of real audiences. So the audience reaction is real. They didn't know that Joe was going up in a character. He was introduced just as his character's name. The audience had no idea what he was doing up there. And so all of those reactions are real, but everything backstage, everything kind of in the real world, that's all scripted. We had a bunch of actors come in. And as a documentarian, I'm used to getting one take, one chance to get everything I need. It was so great in these circumstances to just say, all right, let's do that again. You do that again, and I'm going to be the second camera this time, getting the reaction shot that I need. I need an insert. Perfect. And that was such a change from the documentary world where, you only get one chance. And it was also very freeing to use that camera style, because it's all shot verite style. It's not like The Office so much. It's more like just rough, like the camera's just embedded with this guy or these two different guys, and we're going nonstop. And you're just seeing like little scenes from their life before the shows, after the shows, at home. And, when we were on set, I just could explore and be almost a character myself with the camera. And it also allowed for a lot of real spaces to be used. We didn't have to do a lot of set decoration. We just went into real backstages, real
green
clubs, green rooms. Yeah, it was great.
Daniel, I gotta ask you, but there are two documentaries that we've reviewed that has gotten a lot of heat in terms of comments and people. The first one was American Circumcision, and the second one was your documentary Behind the Curve.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm just curious, what has been the reaction of that movie for you?
From Behind the Curve, it was a
By the way,
very
it's a flat earther documentary.
Yeah, actually, we should say that. Not flat earthers.
It's the best. I love that movie so much.
It's a documentary about flat earthers, and we shot American Comic in actually very similar style, because we both agreed that was the right format for this, because it was kind of these absurd characters.
Yes.
And the camera operator and the director, who I play in the film.
Yeah, seeing that movie made me realize we could make this movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, what if you just do that again, but I just write what it is, and then you take the same approach.
Pretty much, yeah. The response from Behind the Curve was a lot of people really liked it. People obviously really like the last scene that gets on Reddit a bunch. People post it and whatever, it's fine. But the subjects themselves liked it at first. When they first saw the movie, they were all like, "This is accurate. We appreciate this. Thanks." But then once the public got a hold of it and started kind of realizing who these people were and laughing at them.
Well, that was the comments
they
we
appreciated
got.
less.
The comments we got were, "Why are you giving these people a voice?"
Oh yeah, that happened a lot too. A lot of people didn't. If you don't watch past the first 10 minutes of Behind the Curve, you don't know it's not a pro flat Earth movie, which is a little bit of a, maybe we should have figured that out. But
no, I mean, what I really like about that film is that Daniel is not using editing tricks. He's not like. He's taking a compassionate look at these people and, letting them dig their own grave, if that's how you look at it. That's, like you said, when they saw the movie, they were fine with it. But once it was the reactions of those people, it was suddenly they are going to get their lawyers.
Yeah, but we do have people saying, like, why are you giving air to this? And I will say, we were exploring belief and why anyone can believe things that were plainly untrue, and we were hoping that the movie would become less relevant over time, and that has not been the case, unfortunately.
And then to Daniel, I've been performing improv comedy for over 30 years, and one of the questions that came up in the trailer there that I want to ask you is the idea of who is comedy for? Is it for the artist or is it for the audience? Because this is the battle I've had for 30 years with people who are doing comedy, doing stand-up, doing improv. Is that something that you've kind of wrestled with, and it feels like it's in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, that question was for you, Daniel, so I'm gonna let you do it. But I'm here to help. I'm here to yes
like
and.
Joe can definitely.
Yeah, I mean, because I think about, as a stand-up for a long time, I think about comedy a lot as well. And its kind of role, it's like growing role in our culture is almost kind of scaring me, that comedians are being the ones who are interviewing geopolitical leaders and are affecting the culture and the way people think. That is, and I think part of the thing we want to do with this movie is re-establish what a comedian's role is supposed to be, which is to be a fool, not a philosopher. right? I think we've lost the thread a little bit there with what comedy, because yes, some stand-up comedians, maybe maximum 10 in the history of time, have been able to have that kind of philosopher role and almost affect change. But the reality is, and I know this from being a stand-up for a long time, most comedians I know are barely literate, super sensitive egomaniacs, and who do things for attention. They're not doing things to teach the children. And so by showing these like kind of hypocritical characters who are desperate for success and attention by any means, I'm hoping we can show that, like, and I think there's a humanity to that's universal, that we can all relate to. I'm hoping we just kind of remind people, like, comedy isn't going to save us, and that's fine. And comedians are okay, but they're not going to topple any dynasties.
Right. And this movie is kind of an answer to a lot of documentaries that do exist about comedy, that the conclusion of a lot of those is what Joe said. They all think like comedy is going to save humanity. And this movie is kind of just saying, no, it's fun sometimes. And sometimes people are not good at it, and sometimes people are good at it, but it's not going to always change the world. Yeah.
Hey, we've got like 2,000 people watching live right now. Before we go to, we have a lot of questions in our chat I want to run by you guys. But before we do that, when does the film premiere at Dances with Films in Los Angeles at the TCL Theater in Hollywood?
Yes, so it will be 6:45 p.m. on Sunday, June 29th. That's the last day of the festival. We're very honored to be a part of the final night of the festival. Yeah, right in Hollywood at the TCL Chinese Theater. Come on out. Tickets available now.
Cool. All right, let's go to questions and comments. Here we go.
Giggity. It smells like prison, full of shame and anger. Okay. Tony, Youthful Eagle Elias, I'm liking this already. There you go. Come out Sunday, a week from Sunday. The Nerd Far Away, hail. Chris, you got it right. And Mr. Clark, tell us your corniest joke.
Do you have a corny joke?
No.
We always say Daniel. So Daniel's not an actor, but we always say, like, if Daniel was to ever be on screen, his one rule was that he has to be a terrible comedian.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, listen, I'm very lucky to have had a collaborator for all these years who doesn't want to write and doesn't want to act, the two things I want to do, and he does everything else. But yeah, you got to get a corny joke in the holster for when we finally make your screen debut.
I always, I have my dad's jokes in my head, which is like a horse walks into a bar and a bartender says, "Hey, why the long face?" That's the only one I've got.
Classic.
Because it's something my dad said every day.
Were you really sad looking?
You need a real offensive joke to have.
Oh boy.
And keep going here. We have a lot.
Okay, American Remnant. For the 6 billion people on Earth who don't live in the Hollywood area, where can we see this?
Yeah, so we are likely, a lot of stuff hasn't been announced yet, but we are about to set forth on a bit of a festival run. So if you follow at American Comic Film on Instagram, that's kind of the hub where we're going to be releasing info about when we're going to be in different cities. And when that's done, hopefully, if everything goes well, we will have some way for people to access it online. But for now, we've got our big world premiere, and hopefully that will be the beginning of a rollout.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Atomic Glory asks, was this based on any particular comedians?
This is probably based on 500 particular comedians. I think, we will never be able to do this, but we could have a commentary track where we start and stop the movie every 10 seconds. And I say, this is based on this person, but also that person and that person also do this. Press play, pause. Okay, so I saw this person. This person actually said this to me. It's like the ideas flowed for this movie really quickly, because I was drawing on everything I've experienced as a stand-up. You meet a lot of true psychos. And what I like, what came about with that initial short about the detail plus emotion guy is so many comics would come up to me and they'd go, "This is based on this guy, right?" And I had never even considered that it could be that guy, which was like such a sign that it was working. If you can hit on something that is like a trope that is true for so many comedians that it goes beyond the initial inspiration.
We have to wrap it up here, but I want to say thank you guys for coming on the show. Your movie is now playing Dances with Films Festival this weekend. It'll be playing next weekend. It'll be playing other festivals in the future, and I assume will be coming to theaters, VOD, all the things. And follow at American Comic Film. Follow that hashtag, that I assume Instagram, all that stuff.
Correct.
Right.
That's it. All right, guys.
Joe
Thank
and
you so
Daniel,
much.
thank you so much for being on the
you.
show. Congrats on
Thank
the
you.
film upcoming premiere.
Appreciate it. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Take
much,
care.
guys.
Thanks. Well, that was fun, but guess what?
Hold on. I just say, ironically, that was the closing film of Dances with Films. We're about to interview the opening film.
Yes, the filmmakers behind the opening film of Dances with Films, which is, I think, is it tonight?
It was yesterday. It was
yesterday.
last
Okay, let's talk to Do No Harm actor Harry Shum Jr. and director Chris Hartwell. They're here to tell us all about their movie. Hey, how's it going, gentlemen? All right, congrats. Let's put you front and center here. Thank you for your patience. So you had the premiere last night. How'd it go?
Oh man, yeah,
It was fantastic. It was a
amazing.
whirlwind. I was fully expecting it to be a little bit surreal, and it was that and then some. But yeah, so much love in the theater. So many amazing people there, friends, family. We packed the house full of, I would say, at least 75 nurses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And so is this the premiere?
Yeah, this was our world premiere.
First time we had this many eyeballs on it. Right?
Yeah. I'm able to put it up on the big screen, crank the audio, blew out my eardrums in the best possible way. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those kind of pinch me moments of getting to see it at the TCL Chinese Theater with a full packed house. Amazing projection, amazing audio. The film has never looked and sounded this good. There were moments where I was like, oh, I didn't realize they had done that sound design wise, because I'd never heard it on a system that robust. And then obviously too, getting to share it with anyone and getting to feel their energy, their responses to moments. It's a nail biter. It puts you on the edge of your seat, and you can feel that. There was a guy next to me who was very squeamish. And I was having a lot of fun kind of watching him do this the whole time. Like, oh no.
You could feel the anxiety of like the room and feel for the character. And that's exactly what you want as a filmmaker, to feel kind of like to translate that, with sound, with dialogue, but on top of everything, just kind of his journey.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to show the teaser trailer to our audience, and then we'll go to audience questions. But obviously your goal is to show this to an audience, to get reviews, and you've kicked off your festival tour, I would assume. What else do you get? I mean, as you described, you can't being in a room with an audience, you can feel the energy of the audience. What's that like?
100%. I mean, it's one of you said it last night when we were doing our Q&A, and just like, we're in a room full of people watching the same thing, and you covet that attention and that focus and that communal shared experience when watching something. I love it when I'm watching other filmmakers work, but of course it's especially special when it's your work and your nose has been to the grindstone for so long, you almost forget that it's meant to be shared. And then when you suddenly look up and get to share it with people and remember that it was designed to affect them and it's affecting them, there's nothing quite as electric as that.
Yeah, I look at it almost like a really good sandwich. Like you get to walk there and see people, and maybe someone that you haven't seen in a while, and then you get the meat and like the veggie, whatever it is in the middle, and then after that you get the other side of the sandwich where you get to settle with it, talk about it, and explain kind of how it made you feel with other ones. So like there's this like beautiful sandwich that you get to take a bite out of, especially when you go into a theater. So it's something that I think a lot of times we've taken for granted. Theaters, movies are all there, but at the same time we forget like the beauty of like the community that you can build, or just seeing another human being beyond just your television screen. Yeah.
Let's take a look at the teaser for the movie. I've got it queued up right here. Let's look at it.
Once. Sadie? Once
Wake up. I made a mistake once. I need an ambulance at 7326 Richmond Avenue. Sadie.
Everything okay?
Where are you?
Should I call my doctor?
Where were you last night?
So what did happen to Sadie?
What are you so afraid of me seeing?
I was there every single day, and I tried. I tried for her, I tried for you, and I tried for everyone. I gave everything.
Once. I made a mistake once.
Wow.
Yeah, let me tell you why I like your movie so much. It's a story we've seen before of a guy whose life slowly unravels, where the pressure of life just tears him apart. And your character Harry is usually a drug addict or someone who's embezzling money or something like that. But your character is a nurse who goes around helping people, and that his life is falling apart because he's trying to do good and trying to help people along his route. And this is a take on that story that I've never seen before, and just absolutely impressed by the film by the end.
It means a lot.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you
thanks
so much. Yeah, it's to hear that, like, you know, when we're making it and trying to. When I was talking to Chris, when we kind of like the day really before we started shooting, you know, to hear kind of his vision and to carry it through it, like I was blown away by the possibilities of what this could be. So to see it fully come through, and it's been 2 years since we've like worked on this. So, you know, it almost feels like this part of our lives where we shot this in, 18 days, but you've lived with it for over, 10 years, right? In a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So it's really, I mean, for you, I'm just like, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I just kind of build off of that and say it was such a wonderful collaboration getting to work with Harry and kind of taking us back to that day before shooting. The first scene we actually shot was featured quite prominently in that trailer where he's shouting and declaring, "Once I made a mistake once." That was day one of shooting. And actually, Harry and I had a great conversation about that scene. And we, the day before, decided to rework that monologue a little bit.
Yeah.
And Harry, in his astuteness, was looking at the script and recognizing what I was trying to say, but also recognizing more could be said, and kind of pulling at that thread and allowing to develop that character, develop that moment, which is very pivotal to his character and who he is as his life, like you're saying, is coming undone. And he's wrestling with, this feels unjust. This feels wrong, that my life, of all people's lives, is coming undone after all that I've done. And yeah, it was a great way to kick it off. Kind of jumping straight into the deep end with one of the more emotionally dramatic scenes.
How you want to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you walk away from that going, I think we did that, then there's an energy and an excitement to do the rest. Like, that's what we're building towards.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a nice way of almost working backwards. So you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect it going backwards in hindsight, right?
Yeah.
So it really was very helpful
Yeah.
that it was positioned that way.
So you're saying you shot it backwards in a way?
I mean, sometimes it did feel that way.
Was that Ronnie Cheng in the trailer, the teaser?
It was.
It's great.
My question is, how did he get the name Hector?
So that was in the script. It was the name we had. Brian came on very late in the process. We were literally.
He had 1 day to prep.
Yeah, we were 3/4 of the way through our shoot, and we hadn't cast that role. And we had 48 hours before that character's, all of his scenes were going to be shot. And unfortunately, Harry knows Ronnie well. And he had said to me, like, "Hey, how would you feel if I reached out to him?" And I said, I think that'd be fantastic, because this is a very dramatic, nail-biting film. And what films like that need in order to be as effective as they are is moments of respite, moments of levity, moments where you can have a breath. And I knew bringing him in would bring that in some really needed ways. And so I said, please, I mean, who knows if he's available, but he reached out on a Friday night at 5 p.m. I was speaking to him on the phone for the first time in my life around 8 p.m. after he'd read the script. He was on a plane on Saturday. He shot all day Sunday and left. So the joke is always like, I don't know if he remembers that he was on this film.
No, and he kept asking me, he's like, "What's up with that film? What's up with that film that we did?" And yesterday it was just so great for him to see it. It was his first time seeing it, and to talk about kind of he got to go in Houston and shoot. He doesn't do that many indie films, and especially dramatic roles. So I was people were so impressed by his turn, and I think stand-up comedians, they, as we've seen, can do great dramatic roles if they're just given the right ones. And he sticks the landing on this one
because it needs time.
We've got almost 2,000 people watching live. We've got a lot of questions from our audience. Let's go to those and comments too. Kara says, "Congrats on the premiere."
Thank you so much.
And here we go from the nerd far away. Hail, Mr. Shum and Mr. Hartwell. What is your favorite part about making your film, and what would you like to do next?
For me, it's the collaboration. If I wanted to do art by myself, I would become a painter or a novelist. And I love writing a script and seeing what that material excites in other people, what inspires them, what they pull from it. So that collaboration with people like Harry, my cinematographer Paul Dufio, production designer Gabe Dewar, all those collaborations are wonderful.
Yeah, I piggyback off that. Just the fact that this film was really made with so much heart. I mean, like it really was, and beyond the technical skills, it was the energy that everyone pushed and provided for in the very early mornings that we had, and especially in an indie film when the resources are limited. That's the only thing you have sometimes, and magic can be created if you put it together.
Solomon Thornton asked, "Greetings, Sir Harry and Sir Chris. What is your best advice for directing actors?"
Listen. If you have taken the time to cast the right person, if you have understood the character on the page and found the person that you believe can bring that to life, let them do what they know better than you, which is to act, and listen to their instincts. Listen. I think that's just like the simplest advice. Listen.
Davina Duckworth, where did Chris get the idea for writing the film?
Thank you so much for asking that question. I love it, and I love answering this question because it gets me to talk about my wife. So my wife is a home health nurse, and my dad is a doctor. So as you can imagine, they brought home a lot of very interesting stories over the years, and a lot of very interesting characters, so to speak, that they've interacted with, both patients and the medical providers. And without really even realizing it, I was collecting those stories over my entire lifetime. And when it came time to write this film, it sort of just fell out of me. They were the inspiration, to be sure.
And a final question here from Tony, Youthful Eagle Ilias. When can general audiences expect to see the film?
It's a great question, and sooner rather than later is the hope and prayer. So our sales agency is working very hard at getting international and domestic distribution as we speak. So hopefully we have some really good news to share in the coming days and weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait for others to see it. But Alan, I know Alan has a final question because I know he's filled with glee that you're both here.
No, I'm just saying my wife and I saw you on the Glee tour here in
really? Oh, what city?
Anaheim, over at the Honda Center.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got to say, you and Jenna on Glee is the first time where it's like, wow, two really good Asian characters and Asian actors on a television show. And you know it. We don't see that a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I just want to say big fan of yours and Glee as well.
Oh, Alan is Asian, just so you know.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. I mean, it's when we talk about things that happen. I mean, this was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And to be here now, I just think we've made a lot of progress, and we get to talk about it about other different communities as well. So it's so neat.
Yeah.
And we get to win Academy Awards. So
hell yeah.
Finally. Congratulations, you both, on the kickoff at Dances with Films, and I'm sure everyone will get to see the movie at some point soon. Thank you for coming to talk to us here on Film Threat.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thanks so much for having us. Yeah, when you reached out, I was over the moon. I've followed you guys' stuff the longest time, so being here talking very surreal.
Well, thank you for your amazing work. Congrats again. Take care, both.
And great film.
Thank you. Bye.
That was
yeah,
great.
I feel seen. All right,
That was awesome.
That was.
God, I gotta get to Dances with Films this weekend. I gotta
Yeah,
look at the website.
I'm hoping to be there Saturday, but I do want to see the American comic.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
gonna make
got
plans for that.
here's the website, and I have been to this festival before. It's danceswithfilms.com. Pretty easy. It's I'm sure the name was inspired by Sundance, but it's a LA based festival. It's at the TCL Chinese Theater at Hollywood and Highland, or some call it Ho-Hi. And the entire program is on the website. I do like that a lot of these indie movies that play there are unpretentious, but you get a wide variety of comedy, all kinds. There are shorts, features. So danceswithfilms.com. We like to,
hands down. Sorry to interrupt, but hands down,
please.
Dances with Films is the best truly independent film festival there is. No big studio is submitting a film to Dances with Films.
Well, and Slam Dance, I would say Slam Dance as well,
Dance, yes.
is in that category of festivals that have resisted Hollywood's influence and just program true indies. So we want to say there are already reviews from movies playing at Dances with Films on the site, or they're coming over the weekend.
Yeah, they'll be coming.
Yeah. So go to danceswithfilms.com.
Yeah, in fact, one of the winners of award this premiered at Dances with Films.
Yeah, and we're happy to support. Hey, we have more films to review, so let's talk about this one. Let's get set up here, Alan.
Okay. Yeah, A Very Long Carriage Ride is so I think we talked, if you remember, I reviewed a movie a long time ago.
I remember this.
Called it was why is the name dropping out? It was like Airplane Window or something like that. Sorry, Huru, I'm messing the name, but it was fully fully AI animated feature. And it had a lot of problems. I talked to Huru.
It was not good.
It was not
good. Was it called The Passenger or Window Seat or something like that? Anyways, it was a fully AI feature, about an hour long. It was god awful. I think we watched a trailer for it.
But what it did was
a terrible movie. But it's a fully AI from the script,
right,
to the dialogue, the visual.
Yeah, and the importance of that is that you see where AI is and what it's capable of doing in terms of feature film. And so A Very Long Carriage Ride is the next iteration, the next evolution of that. And again, it's not there yet. The movie has its problems, but what Huru Jackson does here is he actually wrote a script, he animated through AI, but he did it twice, meaning one version of A Very Long Carriage Ride is a 2D animated film. The second version of it is a stop motion 3D animated film. And you can watch them. There are opportunities to watch one, the other.
He made the movie twice, once in CG animation and once
2D
in
animation.
2D, and once in stop motion.
Yeah, it's
What?
I mean, so the AI made a 2D version of it and then made a 3D stop motion animation version of it. And look, and he had an idea for a story, and he used AI to help workshop that story. So the gist of the story is that there are some matchmakers. I'm going to get the story wrong because it's an inherent problem with the story. But two matchmakers
Are you saying the story is bad?
Yeah, it's a little convoluted. To the point where I'm like, I'm struggling to follow characters. I'm struggling really to follow the story. It involves 3 weddings, and attending 3 weddings involves magical beings. And it's supposed to be, it's in the style of Jane Austen, so it takes place in kind of that era. And I think the problem is that, when you ask AI to write Jane Austen, it goes a little bit too overboard, to the point where it's just hard to figure out A, what they're trying to say, and B, how this falls in line with the plot. The plot does meander a bit. It does bring in new subplots sometimes. That was definitely true with the first film. I think the other film The first film was in black and white and looked very AI. This one has the same problems, but it feels more. It feels like there's the consistency issue you get with AI is improving. Meaning, it at least still looks like from start to finish, it looks like the same movie.
This might
Does
as
have
well be
issues.
this might as well be an experimental film. I
It
found
is.
the review on Film Threads. Here it is, and the window seat was the name of his other
Window
movie.
seat. That's right.
Yeah, but you can read Alan's review.
Yeah,
on
scroll
the
down. You can.
website.
That's the 2D, and then scroll down. You see the 3D.
Here's the
so that's
3D.
the same character in 3D.
Yeah. Oh wow, that looks. I don't know. It doesn't look bad, but I
Well,
don't
you
know,
got to see the
man.
whole movie.
I'm not convinced. 5 out of 10 seems kind of high.
Well, I appreciate the attempt, and I think it's much more artistic than the first film. I think the issue for me and continues to be with AI, and we brought it up with the Karen Unleashed director, is the consistency of characters.
Right.
It's just hard to create a character and have that character look the same throughout the entire film. And so there are times where certain characters appear one way. Like there's an old lady, Dame Whitlock, who looks very evil and then kind of softens the look as the movie progresses. The main character you saw there looks different in several ways. And then the story, I think I get the point of telling a story through AI, but again, I don't think AI is going to be able to produce an interesting, compelling script at the moment.
Yeah.
So watch it for the experimental take, because I mentioned in the review, the reason to watch this is to see where AI is at in terms of full feature animation, and the other one is for those who are into it, the problem solving. You're going to see a lot of problems. Well, how do you fix it? And I think that's kind of the benefit of seeing a film like this.
We would normally go to comments, but I'm just going to get right into our next review. We'll go to comments at the very end of the show. I want to talk about a movie called 40 Acres, and the timing of this movie could not be kind of worse. It played in a sort of advanced screening on Juneteenth, which is in concept a holiday I actually kind of like. It's celebrating the end of slavery in America. It should be a very unifying thing, like the 4th of July. Hey, America did something great. Let's all celebrate together. And they did a special screening on June 19th of this film. It stars Danielle Deadwyler as the matriarch of a family that has survived sort of a global cataclysm, a biological cataclysm where most living things have died off, including plants. Humans are still around and limited farming. There was a second civil war, and this is basically what happens after the apocalypse. How do people survive? Well, they survive protecting farms. Farmland is the most precious thing that people have. And she is protecting with her family, daughters and older son. They're protecting a farm along with her husband, and they are all trained in weapons. And when they see people that try to take down the farm, they take them out. The unfortunate thing is the name of this movie implies something that is of a racial nature, and the movie is not like that at all.
You mean 40 Acres has nothing to do with 40 acres?
40 acres and a mule.
Yeah.
Right. Which we know that were, how the Civil War ended.
Yeah.
Slaves were
It
given
was
40 acres and
that never came.
Promise. That was a promise. Yeah, exactly. But that's the name of the movie. It really doesn't necessarily tie in, but it's about how does this family survive in a post-apocalypse, in a way, kind of like 28 years later, in the sense that it's not about like that zombie apocalypse. What happens decades later. The timing of it is all very vague.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like Danielle Deadwyler as an actress. She was nominated for Best Actress for Till, her performance in Till. The actor who plays her young son is really good. This guy, what's his name? I don't see where
Are you talking about this movie or are you talking about Till?
I'm talking about 40 Acres.
Okay.
So it's a really good cast. But it's not a zombie apocalypse. It's basically the boring parts of Walking Dead. It's how do you defeat the horrible human beings who survive an apocalypse and are only interested in farmland. So it really, I will say, I was lost on it until the third act. Has a really strong third act. It ends up being more of a thriller in the end, less science fiction, more thriller based on the situation and about how a family survives against gangs of marauders. You basically have to train your children in weaponry and various ways to kill people. And her character, Haley Freeman, the family is the Freemans. How do they survive? And there are other farms. They all communicate through ham radio, keeping in touch with what's happening with your farm. And I'll say that it's not a sci-fi movie. Ignore that. It's more of an action thriller that does have a decent third act payoff. I give it a bare recommend, probably a 5.5 out of 6. And I'll say that the director, this director, he has an eye. Director is RT. This is RT is the director's name.
So you're saying he should have directed Elio.
He should have directed Elio. Yeah. But Danielle Deadwyler, I really like. RT Thorne is the director. He did a great job. He has an eye. And the way they built this world, but it might as well be Walking Dead without the zombies, just the horrible human beings. So if you see this, I feel like what's going to hurt this movie, the title.
Yeah.
The title
100%
is a turnoff. And this movie was also the mystery movie on Monday. And as soon as it came out on the, what the movie was, people canceled. I saw a bunch of people cancel. The movie was packed and then empty.
I mean, you're right. This title is such a politically motivated title, and
yes,
the movie doesn't
need
address
to
it at
be.
all. Yeah, I mean, the title will turn people off. This could have been the greatest movie ever, and that title would just keep people away.
And it is a very racially mixed cast. There's a lot of tension with Danielle Deadwyler's character. She's super paranoid about other people and teaches her young son, like, you can't trust anyone. We just kill people who come here. She trains her family, her daughters and her older son, to kill. We don't trust anyone. And that comes into question when the young son sees a girl swimming in a lake. When he goes on kind of an offshoot journey, he sees a young woman, very beautiful, swimming. And maybe we should trust other people, especially when they're hot. So that causes conflict between the mother and son, which turns up the drama. But so I liked, it was too slow going, but the third act, I'd say, maybe I give it a 6 out of 10. The third act redeemed it for me because all that drama comes into play. And the third act is really intense. But imagine Walking Dead with no zombies after the apocalypse.
Well, this is an apocalyptic movie. You don't need zombies. It's just the idea of factions being created when the world is, has been torn apart. And
and trying to survive. Like, what do we do? And there are no animals. There are no animals in this movie. Only farming and limited what they can grow because there's a fungal like apocalypse that happens. Yeah. So, but that's just the setup. It's not really science fiction. It's putting them in a situation where now they have to fight to survive. And they do explain that Danielle Deadwyler's character has a military background. She was in the army that fought in this second Civil War. So it's a good film in spite of, I think, some of the worst marketing being marketed as science fiction. That's
And
not-
as a political thing.
and then it's very political with calling it 40 Acres. They did a screening on Juneteenth. This movie doesn't open until July 25th, the same week that the Fantastic Four opens. So it's much better than the marketing says it is. And I recommend it, if only for the performance of Danielle Deadweiler. She doesn't get enough credit. So there you go.
I mean, 100%. I didn't see this movie solely based on the title.
Let's go to comments and we'll wrap up the show today. And yeah.
All right, Rudy for 5. I still can't believe all these movies are sequels to Sandra Bullock's 28 Days. Absolutely. They really strayed from the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess alcohol kills. Eric Stratton 777 behind in stream. If your last guests are still watching, look up the medical article called "The Second Victim" about depression after Doc's mistakes.
Oh
yeah,
that's sorry, Eric, we didn't get to your comment, but
there are elements of that in this. Yes.
Yeah.
Arian for 100. Hey Chris, what are your thoughts on the upcoming Superman movie? I'm scared it won't be good, and Marvel fans will get another chance to troll us Disney fandom. We should talk about Superman sometime.
Well, we never talk about Superman, but I'll say that it's mixed. I haven't liked the way James Gunn is front and center in the promotion. I think that's a mistake. I like the most recent trailer, but then a scene was released and it does not look great. That scene. So I am mixed, but you have to judge. I'm having some weird thoughts about, like, because I watch a lot of other review channels, and you have to review the movie based on what it is. You can't review it based on, I have a different idea of what the movie should be. But sometimes that makes sense because a movie is marketed and doesn't live up to the marketing or is even deceptive. But I'm mixed until I see the movie. I feel like it's important to put all that aside, watch the movie, and then render your opinion. But James Gunn is not doing the movie any favors. So, yeah. Thank you for your super chat.
Patrick Lemire. So faux stop motion, the real deal takes forever. Yeah. Patrick Lemire, the way Chris and Alan have acted like Superman doesn't exist is pissing me off.
We should cover it.
Yeah, we should talk about it. The Napsky, when are you gentlemen reviewing Ironheart?
We have a video. Our first edited video will drop on Tuesday. I review all 6 episodes in a marathon. I shot my reactions, and we have a video dropping Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time after the embargo. We're doing a live stream at, I think, 3 in the afternoon, 2 or 3. We'll talk about it. So we're doing a Tuesday live stream in the afternoon with special guests where we will review all episodes of Ironheart.
Yeah, and I can guarantee you I'll have something to say about it that no one else is saying.
Good. I want to hear it. Hey, Andrew Krem gifted 50 Film Threat memberships. That's huge. And there'll be something very special for members of the channel on Tuesday. Thank you, Andrew. That is awesome. That's huge. That's real money. Andrew, holy cow.
I'm hoping it's a pizza review.
It's not the pizza review. A pizza's a part of it. I forgot.
I know, but
Arian became a YouTube member. Thank you, Arian. Rudy, was the Civil War over a Trump reference? No Trump reference at all. No Trump reference in 40 Acres at all.
Marco CCS. Yeah, Marco CCS 65. Running zombies were such a change in the genre.
Yeah, big change.
Didn't feel that special in this one, though. The Morning Mayhem. I'm okay. I'm with Alan on this. It was okay. It was entertaining, but it was incomplete and all over the place. Each act was basically its own story. I think they're relying too much on the sequel. Yeah.
I still liked it. I still liked it in spite of. Look, I'm not gonna debate the flaws. They're there, and my idea of the flaws is why aren't they wearing goggles or safety glasses? I have safety glasses. Make some goggles. Make some masks. You can't fight zombies where blood can get in your mouth and turn you. You can't do that.
Blue Sunrise. Someone tell Chris they made another Left 4 Dead game, but I wasn't called Left 4 Dead. It was called Back 4 Blood.
I played Back 4 Blood. I don't like it as much. Not as inspired. Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 was made by people that are zombie movie fans. But thank you, Blue Sunrise, for your comment.
Yeah. Kara, Chris Allen, how is it possible that all filmmakers you invited are cool, nice people, while what you see on mainstream Hollywood are mostly narcissists and people full of themselves?
People in indie film tend to be very chill, approachable. You should get tickets. Come to Award This. It's on January 31st, 2026. Put it in your calendar. We're doing a bigger event this year. And you'll get to meet a lot of filmmakers. Yeah, indie filmmakers tend to be chill.
You know what it is?
Talk to them.
It's the Hollywood system. It's the Hollywood system that eats people up and turns them into zombies, into filmmaking zombies. Stay away from Hollywood. Make your independent film.
Or people that come from indie film. James Gunn came from indie film. Chris Nolan came from indie film. Jon Favreau came from indie film. If you come from indie film, you tend to be more chill about stuff. Danielle Deadweiler came from indie film. And I want to say thanks to our mods, Lord Thoth, MK Solid, Atomic Lori, Glenn Uccio. Don't get enough credit. Want to thank them too. Alan, what do you got coming up this weekend?
I will be at Dances with Films. I'm hoping to be there tonight and Saturday, and then maybe Sunday.
Nice. Okay. And I'm going to
it's the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. That's where it's at.
I'm going to have a chill weekend. I'm watching Game 7 of the NHL Finals, and the NBA Finals on Sunday also has a Game 7.
Yeah. And I'm going to watch the WNBA because of all the fighting and all the fist fights. The
WNBA is more violent than hockey. Sons and Shadows. How much to attend Award This, Chris? It's not that much. It's like, I think tickets are $50, but $50. You get a gift bag. You get free drinks. So it's, the show, drinks. We have snacks and a gift bag at the end.
And selfies with Chris and myself.
And selfies. So I think $50 is worth it. And we have to, we have to put it on the show. And we have a comedian host. I can't announce. I can't announce it.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be good this year. So we will promote it before tickets go on sale. That's it today. We'll be back Monday with Versus and a special Film Threat After Dark on Tuesday afternoon. Time TBD. Time TBD. So that's
afternoon, definitely.
Afternoon for sure.
Now, let me see if I understand. You lose this guy every week. The fuck?
That's right, Theo. But that's it. Alan, take us out. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Let's get out of here.
You gotta
let's get out of here.